Life is a gift, and we need to cherish its importance. However, some people have a hard time distinguishing between pro-life and pro-choice.
Today on the show, we will be talking about the difference between pro-life and pro-choice. It's another episode of your favorite Catholic Faith Forum, the show where we talk about matters bordering on faith, morality, and popular culture. I'm Chima.
And I'm May, and before we meet our wonderful guest, let me give you a sneak peek. She's wonderfully, fearfully, beautifully, and awesomely made.
Amen.
You can't wait to meet her. Let's go on this short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. It's still your favorite Catholic Faith Forum.
As we said, our topic for today is the difference between pro-life and pro-choice. And our guest today, as I said, you have to meet her. She's amazing. Our guest is architect Ifeoma George Ufot. She has been married for 23 years and she has 2 wonderful children. She is also very passionate about family development and youth formation. Welcome, Ma.
Thank you very much.
We're very happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so let's get into the gist.
Yes, sir.
What is pro-life?
Okay, good place to start. As the name connotes, it means for life. It means anything, positive attitude, concept that promotes life. So, because life is a gift, is a divine gift from God. And so anything that promotes life, that conceives that life is precious from the womb to the tomb, that is from conception to natural death, that is pro-life.
Okay, so what then is pro-choice?
Pro-choice, as the name connotes, they propagate the idea that every individual has a right to choose, that you have the arbitrary right to choose so long as your choice doesn't impinge on another person's choice. But in itself, it's a contradiction because, as you would see, when you choose, there's no how it won't affect the other person.
Okay.
In what way?
For instance, a woman that chooses to abort her child, she's infringing on the rights of that child. The child too has a right to life.
Oh, okay. When people talk about pro-life, what comes to mind most of the time is abortion.
Abortion, yes.
So is that all it's about, like abortion, talking about preaching against abortion? Is that all pro-life is about?
No. If we go back a bit, the sexual revolution that started at the mid-50s to early 60s actually propagated one thing, that you are free to do anything you like with your body. And it was at that time that the pill, artificial contraception, that is, came to the fore.
Okay.
And so the concept of that you can engage in sexual intercourse without the possibility of a pregnancy just opened the can of worms of so many things.
Wow.
So when you look at it, the pro-choice people didn't actually start then. It was like a sexual revolution. And so even the pro-life people, they didn't come up with, we're pro-life. They were just against the artificial contraception. And so when you look at it, if you look at history, you see that because the lies of artificial contraception are now giving birth, what I mean by that is that artificial contraception doesn't give you, is not foolproof. So when you engage in artificial contraception and you now find out you're pregnant, the next thing is they will suggest abortion. So when the pro-life came onto the, came to bear, the main thing was that let's safeguard life from conception to natural death. So now that we are beginning to see the lies because the people that propagated the sexual revolution, they had so many things. I don't want to go into it, but one of it was that contraception will help us to keep the population down.
Yes.
Good. Now, we are beginning to see something called demographic winter, which is another matter.
Wow.
So, because those lies are now coming to bear, they are now beginning to see, you know what, this isn't working. So why don't we legalize abortion? So you see that pro-choice now goes on to say even euthanasia is wrong, human cloning is wrong, stem cell.
You mean pro-life?
Yes.
Okay.
Stem cell, embryonic stem cell research, because all these things cheapen life.
Yes.
So it's the principle that life is sacred. It's a divine gift. Nobody has any right to tamper with it, to tamper with it, to cheapen it, was still to take it.
Well, what about the right of people, the right that humans preserve to make their own choices about their own lives? Isn't the pro-life movement actually infringing on this right?
Okay, like I said at the beginning, your right stops where the other person's right starts. Good, you have a right to whatever you do with your life, but right is not open-ended. The life you have was given to you by God, whatever name you call him, Allah, Chineke, whatever. So if you have somebody you are going to account for that life to, then you must be careful how you live it. And again, the concept of abortion in itself, it's a direct crime against a human law. It's not even, we're not talking of Christian or Muslim.
Whatever.
It's a human law, thou shalt not kill. And that's why I'll commend this program, because you are reaching people wherever they are.
Thank you.
You are not waiting for those who will come to church to hear about pro-life or pro-choice. Now, I don't want to believe that any right-thinking mother, because once you've conceived, you're a mother, you will see the ultrasound of your unborn baby and still go ahead to abort it. It's been proven with ultrasound, with technology, that babies can recognize the voices of their parents.
Yes, they can.
They are aware of the environment they are going to be born into. They can suck their fingers, they feel pain. So, you know, they can sleep. Yes, at times you go for ultrasound and they tell you that the heartbeat is slow. It means that the baby is sleeping.
Wow.
And the baby moves around. Any woman that has born a child will tell you when the baby is kicking and all that. So with all that, I think it's just ignorance that people still do what they do.
What about cases of sexual violence? Isn't this one of the reasons why the revolution started initially? So isn't this pro-life movement sort of causing a lot of trouble for women who don't want to bear a child that they conceive through sexual violence?
Yes, that's a very sensitive topic. And I agree, yes, in the case of rape or even incest,
yes,
a crime has been committed.
Definitely.
But why take the life of the innocent baby? The baby is not the one that committed the crime. And by saying, let's abort the baby, you are passing a death sentence on the child. Fine, a crime has been committed, but like we know, two wrongs don't make a right. If that baby has been conceived out of sexual violence, then I think the proper thing is give the baby the right to that life. Give the baby the right to the life. And you can give up the child for adoption. The child can make another couple very happy. So it's not for us to pass a death sentence on an innocent baby because of a crime of another person.
What about the argument that pro-choice helps to reduce abortion?
That is a lie straight from hell.
Wow. But the contraceptives, the condoms, the pills, and all that were created out of this pro-choice movement.
Yes.
People say that you take them so that the pregnancies won't even come in the first place, that you will need to have to go to the doctor.
It's unfortunate. In Nigeria, we don't have statistics, but in America, where these sexual revolution started, it's been proven that the rate of unwanted pregnancies, the rate of abortions have more than quadrupled from the 60s to now.
Even with the...
So the pill is not doing, that's why I said it's a lie straight from hell. The pill is not doing what it said it was going to do. Population, like I said, yes, they've managed to quell population in that people are not having as many children as before. The average family in US will probably have like 2. But in Europe, we're now seeing what they call a demographic winter.
Okay.
And that is the reason why they are having all these juicy programs to entice Africans and Asians, giving you visa to come and work. But you see that the visa is not just for anybody. They don't want the truck pusher to come. They want the professionals. So what's happening is that because of improvements in health, the aging population is now getting larger than the working population. So they can't sustain their economy. In other words, when we try to play God, God always tells us that He's still God. So now they are beginning to see that, because on the average, every woman needs to birth slightly more than 2 human beings in her lifetime to keep the population at the optimal. That's not going down, not going up. In other words, you need to give birth to 2 people that replace you and your husband.
Interesting.
Good. Now, in countries where they are having this demographic winter, they are having an average of less than 2. They are having 1.2, 1.3. So they are not having, and again, it means that not everybody is going to get married. Not everybody will live up to adulthood. Good. So by the time you are getting to your 50s, by the time you get to your 60s and you go for a class reunion, less than half of your class are there.
Wow. That's
so
really...
there's because for the older people to keep living the kind of lifestyle they need the younger people to supply the economy. And that's why they are looking to Africans, Asians. We haven't imbibed that culture of having, well, it's coming gradually, but we haven't gotten there yet. So, but in doing that, they're also being proactive in that they don't want just anybody. They want people who will work and sustain their economy.
Wonderful.
Okay, but most of these contraception and options that they have are never 100% solid. So how come people are still opting for them when they know that there are these chances of infections, unwanted pregnancies, and the likes?
I think, I just want to say it's ignorance, because the more you know, the more you are aware, you will now be able, even when they call themselves pro-choice, they don't give you the true picture. Like, if you go to the Prochoice, the website, your Planned Parenthood, they will say abortion is a safe way to terminate a pregnancy.
Wow. Now
tell me, safe for who? Safe for who? And to the risks. And it's also been proven that the rise in artificial contraception that is what has given rise to so many cancers: breast cancer, cervical cancer. And also, you can see a trend with contraception. After contraception, now we are talking legalizing abortion. Now we are talking of same-sex unions. Because, like I said, the revolution taught the world that you can have sex without any repercussions, without any responsibility of a pregnancy. So in other words, why can't I engage in sexual play with another person, exactly, if it's just for pleasure?
Wow.
So you see, it's been is a slippery road, really. It's a slippery road. And so the more we let people know the truth, so that they can, when you are really choosing, you are choosing because you know the truth. Not that you are choosing, not out of ignorance. Not out of
coercion.
Exactly. And like I said, your choice too. Consider the baby. Why don't you give the baby the choice to choose? Most babies will choose to live.
Definitely. I don't think anybody will choose
I
to
don't
die.
think any baby would even
Exactly.
choose to die. So.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's take this short break now to find out what people have to say about pro-life and pro-choice, and if they even know about what pro-life and pro-choice is about. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
What does it mean to be pro-life?
You know, there's a very big abortion movement.
Yes, there is.
So, if you are a supporter of abortion, then you are pro-choice. But if you are pro-life, on no condition would you support a woman who has a baby to abort that child, no matter what condition. So it's a very big debate,
Yes.
highly complex, particularly in America. In fact, the issue of pro-life and pro-choice can make or unmake you. For instance, President Obama was pro-choice. President Trump, the current president, is pro-life, which is why, even though he acts like a madman, the church supports him because he supports what the Catholic Church believes in. The Catholic Church is pro-life. On no condition would the church support a woman to have an abortion. So that's the difference.
What does it mean to be pro-life?
To be pro-life is to support life from natural conception, from conception to natural death.
Okay. What does it mean to be pro-choice?
Being pro-choice means that you choose selfish reasons over life that you cannot create.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to look at it for what it really is, because people say they are pro-choice, you don't get to choose who lives and who dies. So that choice is not for man.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to the show. It remains Catholic Faith Forum. And we just got the opinions of people on the streets about pro-life and pro-choice. A lot of people, well, are in support of pro-life movement, but some people are also still skeptical about it.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually on the fence about it because they don't really
yeah.
know. Some don't even know the real difference between pro-life and pro-choice. That's the reason for this topic.
Exactly. And also there is a problem with extreme cases.
Yes.
You understand? I know we've discussed about cases of sexual violence. We have discussed about the infringement of people's rights to actually choose. Yeah. Now, the extreme cases I would like to that are also involved in this matter are cases of where the mother's health is threatened by the child in her womb.
Okay.
Pro-choicers are always fighting with pro-lifers on that matter. Okay. So in extreme cases like this, can the pro-lifers soften their stance on their movement?
Let me add something to that. Like in instances where you have underage children being pregnant, yeah. What do people do in such instances?
You see, nothing can ever justify the taking of another person's life. You cannot do evil that good may come out of it.
Okay.
Okay? And like I've said, if a crime has been committed, let's punish the right person. We should never begin to see that there's a choice between one person's life to the other person's life. I don't know, some time ago, I was watching a program. It was a pro-life rally. And the priest who was talking at the pro-life rally in the US, he was giving an instance of a woman he knew she had 7 children already, I think.
Okay.
And then she was pregnant with the 8th. And the doctors told her from the ultrasound that the child had congenital condition, that if she carried the pregnancy to full term, the baby born would have so many disabilities that he may not be able to cope with life.
Okay.
So the woman was actually at a crossroads. So she and her husband decided to give birth to that child.
Wow.
Wow.
And at the end of this talk, the priest said he is that child.
Oh,
Oh my.
And he came out without any problem.
wow. Look at God.
So sometimes we want to play God, and it's not in our purview to play God. We must choose life, because like I said, that life is a divine gift. We didn't put the child there. The only aspect of a human being that the father and the mother provide are the mortal bodies. God is the one that gives the soul. And it's the soul that makes a life. It's the soul that makes a life. So there shouldn't be any situation that will make us choose one person's life over the other. Give the child a chance. Who knows? Who knows who will save Nigeria?
Wonderful.
Okay, so, you know, most times, how do I put it? A lot of people are faced with very extreme situations. So what advice do you have for those people who are facing extreme situations and they don't know what to do? Like, I made an example of an underage girl,
Yes.
pregnant. What does someone do in such a situation? Because it's easy to say the child should be kept, but you can think about the complications to that person's health. This young girl who probably has a future, has plans for a future, and then she's pregnant by no fault of hers.
Yes.
What can you advise people like that in such situations?
My advice is always the same. Don't take another person's life. There's always another choice. There's another choice to abortion. There's another choice to euthanasia. There's another choice to suicide. There's always a choice. And if you look around, thank God, Nigeria has grown. There are so many houses that take on pregnant teens who have been thrown out of their homes or don't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
There's always something. Call the church. Call your program. Okay? So there's always a choice. And remember that, like I said, this life was given to us by God. We're going to account for this life. Whatever problem it is that you think you're going through that is making you think the solution is to take a life, remember, eternity is forever and ever. And it would be bad for anybody to spend it in hell because of an abortion, because you've killed another human being.
Wow. Sorry to drag us back, but these are questions that are very, very pertinent in the discussion about pro-life and pro-choice.
Yes.
It's a known fact that women undergo certain changes to their bodies after every childbirth. So pro-choicers pro-choicers argue that after a woman has successfully birthed a child, if those changes are still noticeable, she should find a way to terminate a pregnancy or use contraception to prevent anyone until the changes either disappear. And in some extreme cases, some of these women never go back to how they were before the birth. So what do you have to say in this argument?
Whether we like it or not, we're all aging. Once you are born, you're already a minute old, a month old, a year old. We're all aging. Now, how can we choose to preserve the way we look over giving life? Giving life. And remember that this life, like I keep saying, is a gift from God. We are not the ones. We are just providing the mortal flesh for that human being. God is the one that is giving the soul. And it's the soul that keeps us alive. Once the soul goes, we are just mortal flesh that will decay. So there shouldn't be anything at all that will make us choose not to give life. We should always choose life.
Wonderful. So that means, that is saying that regardless of the changes that a woman experiences,
Exactly.
she should always be open to giving life, and that the pro-choicers should understand that you cannot tamper with life because you don't have the rights to it.
Exactly.
It's not yours to
It's
give
not
or
yours to
take.
give.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. It's been an exciting episode.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you for
exciting.
all the useful and vital information you've given us to us today.
Yes, so.
Okay, that we are alive today is a blessing that we should never take for granted. So let us try to cherish life in every decision we have to make. Thank you for being with us today. For questions, suggestions, inquiries, hit us up on our social media platforms at CFF on TV. And for other interesting content, past episodes of the show, follow our YouTube channel, Dominican Media Presents, and you will not regret it, trust me. Till next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.